you learn about music though from Last Resort?
Oh man.
It has to be the most, right?
I mean, that song was, it just took us straight to the top. And what I learned about that song, you know, from putting music out that was like diving into the turmoil of the mental health struggle, was about one of my best friends that attempted suicide. And at a young age, that was traumatic. And then to make sense of it, put it into song, and then release that song, and then go travel the world and meet thousands upon thousands of people that told us that story touched their lives, that inspired them, that it was a source of strength and hope to them, because the song is a cry for help. And what it made me really, truly realize is the power of music and the interconnectivity of music, and how it can bring people together, how it can inspire hope in people. And I didn't necessarily approach music from that space. You know what I mean? It was just like, I had to make music that just, I was getting this stuff out, especially on our first album, Infest. That was like, I was dealing with a lot of, you know, some of the things from my childhood and putting that into the music. And I was just making sense of all these things. I was a young man, you know, I was like early 20s when we were writing that record. And so
that gives me goosebumps.
Yeah, it was wild, man. And to get out there and meet all the people that deeply connected to our music in a meaningful way, that made me look at this thing from a different perspective. It wasn't just like, yo, just go in and do whatever you feel at the moment. Like, this is purpose-driven music. And that is in itself it's humbling. And I'm grateful now that I have that perspective, because beforehand it was just like, I just want to fucking rip. I just want to rock.
But you also reach a point in your life where you're at a place where you bottle up all this stuff, and the only way you can make sense of it all and examine it all is through music.
Yeah, man. It's been a healing tool. In the past, it was, you know, it caused, you know, because I just dove into this rock and roll lifestyle. And I was kind of reckless for a while, you know, but then I had to reel my life back in and kind of hit rock bottom a couple times. And this music has been a reflection of that story in my life.
The other powerful thing that comes out of Last Resort is this ability, and we talk about it with artists sometimes, is music can mean one thing when you make it.
Yeah.
And then that same song years later can mean something totally different to you.
Oh, you know, like, when we first wrote that song, it was about my best friend. Then, as the band's out there touring, the man that our band is named after, Howard William Roach, my stepdad's father, he died by suicide. And that was like just kind of this really heavy moment. Like, you know, we named the band after this guy. Our biggest single is about contemplating dealing with thoughts of suicide, and then my grandfather had taken his life. That was a heavy moment, you know. And then I find myself in 2011 dealing with suicide ideation, and I was at my rock bottom, right? And it was like, I wrote this song about somebody else, and then all of a sudden I'm living this song. You know, that's like a terrifying fucking place to be. Thank God I didn't make a permanent decision to a temporary problem, and I got the help that I needed, you know what I mean? And it's like, but I had a brush with the darkness, and, you know, I've lost friends to suicide. It's right now, it's at a all-time high, really and truly. It's a leading cause of death in America. It's fucking just hurts my heart to even say it. You know, hence why we want to write a song like Leave a Light On, right? Like Last Resort is a cry for help. Leave a Light On is a response to that cry for help. And because we understand like the power in music and how it can speak to somebody in their darkest moments and inspire hope, even if it's like a little glimpse of it, you know what I'm saying? Sometimes that's all we need is just like a little teeny shot of hope, and it's enough to get through to the next little shot of hope, right? To where here I stand, you know, 13, 14 years removed from this moment in my life that I was like, wanted to end. And I'm like recovered and healthy and focused and passionate and loving and caring, and like that's a world away from where I was. And I think I can speak on these things because I've been there, you know, and I've seen the darkness firsthand, but I didn't succumb to it. You know what I mean? I just danced with it for a little while.
Are you using music as a way to understand your thoughts and feelings at that time?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, it was like, you know, the funny story about people telling me, not the funny story, but people telling me throughout the years, your music saved my life. And then I'm in a period of my own life where music is saving my life. I understood it. It's like, unfortunately, I had to go live that experience. And, but gosh, I'm just grateful that I lived that experience, because I could take the pain and turn it into purpose. And that's what a lot of my story is about. And I feel that that's an inspiring story. I've seen other people do that with their lives, and it's inspiring to me. So it's like just on some pay it forward type shit.
Do you feel like Last Resort help people?
Do I think Last Resort help people?
Yeah.
Absolutely. I know this. I know that it helped people. I've read letters about people's stories. I've met people face to face, and they've told me their story about how that song in particular was a source of strength and inspiration to them. So absolutely, man. And that's like not what I intended to do back in the day when we started the band, was to like use music as a way to like inspire hope. It was just, I stumbled into it just by being real and vulnerable.
But that becomes the through line of most of what you do after that.
Absolutely. Cause you know, when you get out there and you tussle with the people on the streets, and you see the effect of what you've done, or the influence of what you've done with the music, and see how it's positively impacted people, it adds another layer of like depth and almost responsibility to what we're doing.
It is interesting because you guys fought to keep Last Resort intact for the radio edit, because you wanted people to hear it in a way that was precise.
Absolutely.
I mean, do you remember those conversations?
Oh yeah, I was pissed. I was like, dude, if you go back and like watch the MTV edit, it is like, obviously they edited fuck, which, all right, cool, I'll let that pass. But then it was like, they edited the word suicide. They edited the word cut. They edited the word, I think they edited bleeding. And so the top of the song was just edit, 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 edit. But it's still somehow through all the edits, just it connected. And that thing was like, we didn't know what would happen when we released this song. We just thought like, all right, cool, we're going to get in the van and go tour and just rip. And maybe we'll sell 100,000, maybe 250,000 if we're lucky, maybe gold. And this thing just like rocket ship ride to the top, and it connected with people.
Continues to.
Yeah, and it's timeless, you know what I mean? It's got that timeless vibe like Doc Martens, you know what I'm saying? It's like you could put a pair of Doc Martens on any minute and you're like, style. But yeah, Last Resort is it's one of those that still, you know, you turn on the radio and it pops on next to say a Turnstile song, or a Foo Fighters song, or I wouldn't say Prince because we're not on classic radio, but that song actually next year will be on classic radio.
Totally.
Which trips me out. I'm like, it still sounds like now. What are we talking about? Classic. Yeah, it's pretty dope.